letting the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. I'm your host, Brandon Phillips, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Brian Taylor,
Yeah.
Terry Taylor, and Captain Kyle McKenna. All right, guys, this is going to be, a little quickie but goodie today for the BKBK podcast. All right, the Jets just played and defeated the Denver Broncos, and you know what? We titled this episode "Even Wins Can Hurt," and the Jets saw a lot of hurt bodies on the field today, and one of them is kind of, I don't know, it depends on the severity, but listen, I'm one of those big sensitive guys. I'll drop a tear on you in a minute, and that's my man Brees Home. Yeah, but it only goes down one eye, like what Kerry's showing you. It's that single teardrop. So that either means that one, I'm sensitive, or on the flip side of that, I'm a sick puppy. So I'm not sure which way I'm gonna go today because I love Brees Hall, and plus I got him in fantasy.
Sure.
And and he's a great runner, and he went down, and I don't know. I'm being more of the pessimist than the optimist on this one, and it's kind of killing me. But
Yeah, B, can I add something to the hurt though?
go ahead.
So my addition to the hurt is I don't think we have our franchise QB.
Oh, gee,
That's what I'm gonna add to the hurt. And the way this game unfolded, the defense won it for us at the end of the day, right? And how they played in the second half. We couldn't do anything on offense. And it wasn't just because of Denver's tough defense, I think ranked third in the league. Certainly, that played a factor. But Zach Wilson couldn't hit an open wide receiver or tight end or anything. I don't think he threw an accurate ball past the line of scrimmage. I mean,
he threw one to Tyler Conklin.
Okay.
It wasn't enough for a first down. I think he got 8 yards on it, and he needed 10.
Yeah.
And then I'm scratching my head to think of another.
Exactly. And it's tough. It's tough watching. This is what it's been the last couple of weeks, and we won despite his play at the end of the day, right?
It hasn't been to this extent. I would argue to say that this is the best defense that we faced this season.
Yes.
Well, okay, I get that, but
you got to take that into consideration.
Sure,
that can't be lost in the conversation.
Understood, but we didn't need him in the other games because Brees Hall was there running crazy for 100 yards on the ground, 100 yards in the air. We
needed him, B. I think we needed him. I mean, if you really want to look at it, he's undefeated since he's been back. He's undefeated. He's 4-0.
And what has he done to contribute to the win?
The Jets are undefeated. He's not undefeated.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I know, but when you look at quarterbacks, you got to go with the record too. Just like how with quarterbacks, you go with wins and Super Bowl rings that they have as well. The quarterback plays such an important role that you can't take that away from them. You know what I'm saying? Even if they're not playing stellar, but they don't lose the game for you. I don't think the defense played so well that he didn't lose the game for us. Like we had the lead for the majority of the game, but his play was so lackluster today that it's starting to get get me a little bit worried because the Denver Broncos are not that good. And if we're going to play say the Patriots that have had our number for the past 10 years, I don't know if I'd roll the dice on Zach Wilson, bringing us to the point of winning the game for us. Go ahead, Kyle.
Well, so let's take that word lackluster, right? Because I would agree with you. That's a good word to use. All right. So you lack luster, right? You lack the bright spots, right? So if we're talking baseline here, he doesn't turn the ball over at all.
But pause before you say that. He didn't turn the ball over in that he did make plays where the ball could have been easily turned over. Okay? Let's be clear about that.
Yeah. So
it's because their defense didn't make the plays that were necessary because they didn't make the catches too.
And the fumble. And the almost fumble. Let's not forget that. That was a bonehead play.
All right. An almost fumble is not a fumble. Just like C.J. Mosley's interception isn't an interception. And I say that because you can be concerned about decision making when it comes to the way he carries the ball out there, like Patrick Mahomes. In that new style, whatever we call it, Gen Z quarterbacking, where you have the ball out here and you run around and you put the ball on the ground and you pivot off of it. Yeah, I saw the same thing that you saw carry with that. But the bottom line is, when the stat sheet is handed in, he didn't turn the ball over. And that is an important thing to note here, in that, whereas your game can lack luster, you're not going the opposite way, where your game stinks. And that's where I draw the line there. However, when you are a career 55% passer, and we talked about this a little bit last week, every game is another thing on your resume. When we get to the end of this year, we're going to have to make this decision that Brian's talking about here. Is this the franchise quarterback, right? And if he's a below 55% passer, he's not the franchise quarterback. And you got to start over, because you can't win in this league with a guy who it's a 50-50 chance he's going to complete a pass every time he throws it. Just like, if you got a 10% three-point shooter, I don't want him shooting threes.
Sure. And let's say this. He's played in 4 games. We've won all 4. Yay. And I'm not diminishing that. The dude has thrown 1 passing touchdown in 4 games. He's thrown.
It lacks luster.
Right. He has thrown for less than 200 yards in half of the games. I mean,
I think that's an even better point to bring up, Brian. And I'm kind of strengthening your treatise here.
Sure.
Whereas the lack of the accuracy and the lack of 300-yard games,
200-yard games. I mean, go ahead though.
200.
Sorry.
Yeah, some of the QB stats are high school style stats. When you got a 10 of 18 for 130 yards, that's a decent high school quarterback.
Yeah, he's playing like he's running the power I at Baldwin.
Yeah, but I think what Brian was getting at, as far as like, I'm not sure we have our franchise quarterback. You gotta get to the end of it. You gotta evaluate the whole thing, right? You gotta get to the point where when decisions have to be made about this type of stuff, you have all the data in front of you, and you make the decision. And if every game that you play, even if they're all wins, they lack luster, then you're Trent Dilfer. And Trent Dilfer was not a franchise quarterback. He was a quarterback on a team with a good defense that won a Super Bowl.
But what I would say is this: I recognize the moniker of lacking luster, but the problem that I have with Zach Wilson is not that he's not making the play that stands out, right? The issue is that he is making plays that stand out from a negative standpoint, right? You're continuing to make poor decisions, and the poor decisions that you're making are constant, and they're the same. It is holding on to the ball too long. It is trying to do too much in the backfield. It is not throwing the ball, letting the ball go when it should be let go. It is not throwing the ball away on purpose, right? So that you live to fight another day. That was the problem day one, and it is still the problem today. So no, are you making, the luster plays downfield that I want you to make? No. But are you continuing to make poor decisions when you can just throw the ball away? Yes. And that is my biggest problem with this sort of project, right? He's becoming what is known to be a project, because he's not. It's almost like he's not listening to anyone but himself. I can do this. You guys don't understand. He's overestimating his abilities to a certain extent. And what's the most disheartening is that these decisions are, in my opinion, just bonehead. Just bonehead. You got out of it once. What makes you think you're going to get out of it 3 times in the backfield, in the offensive backfield? I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, I feel like you're watching the same play over and over again.
Correct.
Bootleg.
Yes. It's like deja vu all over again.
Right. Spin.
It's like Groundhog Day.
Spin again, and then hold on to the ball. Just throw the ball out of bounds, bro. There's no play to be had anymore. Just throw the ball out of bounds. And then what does he end up doing? He throws the ball out of bounds, and we end up getting a offensive lineman downfield because he holds the ball for so long. They don't even know what to do at that point in the game. But I would say this again. I'm with you on the bad decision making and stuff, Kerry. I think that's definitely part of the problem. But hit an open wide receiver. Don't throw it on his back shoulder. Hit him in stride where he can actually get some yards after the catch, right? With it after. You throw the ball on Mims's back shoulder, on his hip, and he tries his best in order to catch it. And by the time he turns around, he gets popped because his chest is wide open, right? It's horrible. What was he going to do with the ball after that? Even if he had caught it, I mean that's where I'm like, where's ball placement? That's 2 words, ball placement. It's like it doesn't exist with him right now. I'm frustrated, and it's in a win, which is frustrating unto itself. But we're looking at the Patriots, we're looking at the Bills. The next 2 games, I can't see us winning right now, and I understand the injuries are there. So that's going to be part of it, but that's why we draft you number 2 in order to be able to uplift the offense when we don't have everything, in order to make some plays, the plays that are there to be made. That's all I'm saying, and he's not able to do it.
I hear you. You know what, Brian? I hear you. You know what I'm saying? I think me personally, I'm frustrated too. First of all, I'm frustrated too. I think I just have a touch more patience than you, but just a touch. But the thing that's bothering me, it's a few things. One, the back shoulder passes. There are reasons to do that, but there's positions, and routes, specific routes where you should make that happen. Usually, it's when the receiver is running a route, say on the sideline,
right,
and you're testing the sideline. This way, you throw the back shoulder. It kind of ensures a first down, or it kind of ensures the ability for the receiver to look over his other shoulder and then loop it back in to start running up in the middle of the field. But what Zach is doing, he's throwing a lot of back shoulder passes on slants when your momentum is taking you in one direction, the ball is going in the other. And usually
he's not throwing those back shoulders on purpose.
Right.
That's the problem.
Slant and you running in, usually you're in the middle of the field. So now when you're doing that back shoulder in the middle of the field and you don't catch it, sometimes it pops up. Next thing you know, you're getting picked off. And that's what's happening. You know what I'm saying? So he's gotten lucky as far as not having as many of those picked off because he's just throwing too many back shoulder passes. And I don't think that they're on purpose. I just think it's due to his inaccuracy, which is kind of bothering.
Sure. You know who's more frustrated with this than we are?
Who?
The wide receiver.
The wide receiver.
Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
So I mean, we got to.
I'm gonna give it to you, Kyle. And this is the second point I wanted to make. I was talking about those throws. Remember how fired up we were about Zach Wilson? About Garrett Wilson.
Sure.
We're not even talking about him anymore. Ever since he came back. So I do like Zach. I have faith in him. I think he can kind of mature and become what we want him to become at this point right now. I still believe in that. But I'm frustrated with him. And specifically because of him, Garrett Wilson is not showing us what he can do and what he did for us when we had Flacco in there. You know what I'm
saying? When he was rookie of the week. When he was rookie of the week.
Yeah.
In stride.
Yeah.
Well, I think that Zach Wilson is on a timeline right now.
Sure.
And that timeline is up till week 18 of this year or beyond, if we're so lucky. And then in the offseason, there's going to have to be some real decisions made. Unfortunately, it feels like we're back in a Sam Darnold loop where we're trying to figure out whether we're going to sign somebody's extension off of their rookie contract. And we know enough now that you need either a top 5 elite quarterback, or you need somebody on a rookie contract. So let's hope that maturity that Brandon's talking about comes. But when we look at the situation with Elijah Moore this week,
I would not agree with Sam Darnold, because Sam Darnold was losing games for us. Zach is not losing, but he is not winning. And at this point in this season, the defense is winning our games along with the running game. But go ahead.
I don't know what
Sam Darnold didn't have our defense.
Correct. Or wide receivers.
I don't know what Sam Darnold's record as compared to Zach Wilson's is up in the amount of games. If you put them equal, it might be pretty close to the same.
And Sam Darnold also didn't have our running game. That's why I'm giving kudos to the defense and to the running game.
Or receivers. Yeah. Or receivers.
True.
Well, we're not really talking about wins and losses right now. We're talking about quarterback play, right?
Go ahead, buddy.
So, and then with Elijah Moore, we're talking about a disgruntled player that came out this week, and I don't know. I'm hearing rumblings about, like, this is something that was known, that he was somebody that was prone to these types of outbursts, and and maybe this isn't out of left field. It's not what I expected, but I also see this as maybe a function of the wide receivers being frustrated that this guy can't get them the ball in general, and with Elijah Moore being at that 0 target last week, I definitely think he took the bait that Rich Cimini put out there.
Sure.
Which I think is, there's always that guy that does that, right? So I'm not surprised by that either. He's trying to sell newspapers or whatever it is, or subscriptions to cable. I don't know who he works for anymore. So it's like with the Elijah Moore thing, I think that he's definitely being immature about it. He definitely didn't have to become a distraction on a winning team. That could have really helped us today. He was a healthy scratch because of his behavior, which in the NFL, when you're getting paid as much money as you're getting paid, is kind of ridiculous. I'd rather be compared to some other receiver who may not get an opportunity to Antonio Brown. But it's like, come on, please just get with the program and deal with it internally, rather than on tweets. But I definitely think, and I will give him that credit, that he's not the only one that's frustrated with the accuracy of the quarterback.
Yeah.
Kerry, you agreeing or you disagreeing?
I'm totally agreeing. He's not the only one, but the issue is when you're winning, it's hard to complain in public. You can complain behind closed doors, and you can express your concern that you got 0 targets in the last game, and he only threw the ball 18 times. Yes, but you don't put that out on Front Street, right? My issue again with Zach Wilson is I see the talent, right? I see, just like the pass that he made to number 10. What's number 10? I can't remember his name right now. Offhand. Receiver. Oh my gosh.
You're talking about 16?
Number 10. Who's number 10 on the Jets?
Garrett Wilson.
I don't think we.
No, Garrett
is 17.
We don't have a number 10.
Nobody's 10.
16 is Jeff Smith.
No.
And he caught a pass.
Well, our punt returner.
Oh, Barrios.
Barrios, yeah.
Barrios is 10?
Yes. So, he hit him in stride a couple of times, on the outside and led him. I mean, balls that I was like, ooh, that was a great throw. He's got a sidearm sling where he can just flick the ball, and the ball is a bullet, but he hasn't developed the consistency. And that's what the NFL is about. The NFL is about repetition, and you've been able to repeat those types of throws. And he hasn't been able to do that. And again, I understand that there's a level of development there, right? But what I don't get is you trying to make plays when there aren't any. That's the biggest problem that I have. Right? You want to fit it in a tight window? Sure. I'm almost accepting of that, right? But when you want to spin 2, spin 3 times, and at the end of the day, almost get hurt because you're not going out of bounds when you should, I don't know what to do with that. That said, that makes me understand Elijah Moore's frustration. Do I support him dealing with it out in public? Absolutely not. But I understand. It's almost like Chris Rock said, "Would I have done it? No. Do I understand? Yes."
One other criticism of Zach Wilson for me is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I think he exits the pocket too early. So he leaves, and then while he's scrambling, trying to make room, that's where we're like, you're holding on to the ball too long. And usually when he's scrambling in and out, that's when you have guys, the backside end coming him, chasing him down. Then he's got, to spin his head around to see if he's there or not. And then he'll try to, evade that tackler. Then now there's someone coming on the front side. Then he's got to evade that one. The next thing you know, he's holding the ball for like 5 seconds, where he could have just stayed in the pocket just for another half a beat to make an attempt at a throw. He'll drop back. He'll do his 3 or his 5 or his 7-step drop, 1 alligator 2, and then he's already scrambling. And I think he just goes to scramble too early. So, and I think that throws off the rhythm of the receivers. It throws off the rhythm of his throws and everything, and just the decisions that he's making, because now he's playing sandlot football, and he goes to that way too much. You're not playing in the WAC anymore, or what are they in? What conference is BYU in? The WAC.
The WAC. The WACK. The WAC.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So he's not there anymore. So he needs to stop.
I think they're an independent now. I don't think they're in the WAC anymore.
Well,
I don't think the WAC exists anymore.
Funny. Well, can I switch gears for a second and just, because we got a lot of doom and gloom, and we talked about a lot of things here. But can we?
Let's talk about some positive stuff.
So I looked at the stats here, and I didn't know what to expect here. But did Sauce Gardner have 10 tackles today? Holy cow! 9.
How many pass breakups do you have, though? How many pass breakups?
Yeah, three pass defenses.
Yep. Boom.
Yeah, 9 solo tackles, an assist, 3 pass breakups. I felt like he won the game a couple of times, in those last couple series and stuff like that, without getting the pass interference call on any of them. I mean, listen, our corners are just playing phenomenal. Joyner comes up with an interception, after not playing so well maybe in the first quarter.
Brian, keep talking about the DBs, but don't talk about Reed. Give that to Kerry.
Okay. Absolutely. I'll definitely leave that to him. There's definitely a ton of meat on the bone for that guy. But the defense just came through. 9 points. Is that what we gave up for the whole game? 9 points. And there were opportunities for Denver to score more points than that, but we shut them down in the second half. Shut them down. The defense realized we have to win this game. Offense is not moving the ball. We got to win this game. Special teams, Zerline hit all his kicks. That's phenomenal in Denver with the wind blowing the way it was, right? They missed the kick, right? They missed the extra point. So when you look, and a field goal, right? So Z came through with the leg and said, "Nah, man, I know how to kick in Denver," and he came through. So definitely accolades to the defense, to the special teams for doing what they did. They really pulled the win out for us today, man. And it's good stuff. I'll hand it over to Kerry because he wants to talk about DJ Reed, baby.
D-backs talk about D-backs. That's what I'm talking about. But I want to circle back with regard to the kicking game, right? Denver's kicker did not have a good game.
He's a good kicker too.
That's my point. At home, right? So Zerline, hey, what more can you say? But what I want really want to address is DJ Reed for president. DJ Reed is all pro.
El Presidente.
DJ Reed is all pro, right? There has to be someone that Sauce can look at and
emulate, if you will.
Right. Sort of follow, right? And he has been that dude. I mean, we all can recognize that Sauce doesn't always stick his head in there. He should, right? We all recognize that.
Sure.
You know,
he makes a couple business decisions there.
Right. He is Dion heavy. He's making business decisions. But my boy DJ Reed is in there all day. You know, you might consider him undersized. He doesn't, right? He is out there all day, every day, making it happen. And
Jerry Judy doesn't consider him undersized. Or
no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
DJ got some guns on him, though. You know what I mean? I was looking at the biceps, man. He got some guns on him.
Undersized, though. He's thick. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like a thick dude. You know what I'm saying? So, man, I like, listen, for us not having that much of a pass rush today, we got to admit to that, except for my man Q and his brother, because his brother had a sack. Quincy had a sack today. Just think about how good your defensive backs have to be when you're not getting that much of a pass rush, especially against the backup quarterback. So
they were getting pressure. They were still getting pressure, though.
Okay, but like it didn't. I think we had maybe one sack.
Yeah, one sack.
I was getting really tight at the rotations, because there were times, and even like in the fourth quarter, where I'm seeing like Nate Shepard and Solomon Thomas out.
I want Solomon on. I want Solomon off of the rotation.
Nah. I want Shepard off.
I worry about Shepard because Shepard is somebody who in the past has gotten us a bad penalty at the wrong time.
But he hasn't. He didn't. Actually, he has played well this year. Look at his numbers. He has played well this year. It's Solomon Thomas that's the issue to me.
Man, Nathan.
Vinny Curry can take his snap.
I mean, I want Jonathan Franklin Myers. I want Carl Lawson, Quinn Williams,
Johnson,
and Sheldon Rankins out there. If they are all healthy, and it is the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left in the game, that is who I want rushing the passer.
What about Huff? Did you say Huff?
I want Huff too.
Well, I mean, or I'm bumping
Martin too. Martin's out there.
I'm bumping Jonathan Franklin Myers down to tackle, taking Rankins out, and bringing in Huff, or but it's just I want the best four out there.
Yes,
at the end,
situationally.
Yes. You want your NASCAR package. That's what you want in there at some point.
Well, what happened was that when Franklin Myers went down, it's 53 seconds left. It stops the clock. They're able to get a whole new group of D linemen out onto the field.
But I'm telling you, Franklin Myers does that on purpose. If you noticed in the last several games, Franklin Myers does that on purpose. He is never on the injury report. He is always on the ground at the end of the game. Okay, so you can again. I look at the game within the game. My man is doing the same thing, and he's smiling when it's happening. And I hope anyone else is watching this in terms of the opposing teams, but he's doing the same thing every time.
Hey Gary, you know what's funny? To make it dramatic, I know you saw them popping up the blue tent while he was walking over there.
Yeah.
I kept thinking to myself that if I was Jonathan Franklin Myers, I'd be like, yo, can we just wait until this 53 seconds is over so I can watch the rest of this game, and then we'll go and check? That thought literally came to my mind.
You know what JFM stands for? It's not John Franklin Myers. It's just fronting, man.
Well, I mean, speaking of real injuries, we got real injuries, and we were talking before about the running back situation. And Kerry, you had suggestions as far as who to bring up from the practice squad to fill Breece Hall's spot if he's going to be out for multiple games.
I love Breece.
I want Bam Knight to come up. I think he deserves a chance. This is the kind of kid that there was a similar running back that we held on the practice squad last year that just played a great game, one single game for us. and I can remember his name. But Bam deserved to be on this roster, at least as a practice squad member. And if Brees Hall is injured and will be away from the team for a significant period of time, then this guy deserves to be our number 3 running back. But Michael Carter, look, I love Michael Carter, and he played well in Brees Hall's absence. When the line wasn't really blocking the way that we felt they should have, and again, given the fact that AVT was out, early on in the game, and they inserted a right tackle that we really don't have much experience with. Most of us didn't even know he was on the roster. I did, just because I scour the reports of who they're bringing in. But so you factor in Brees Hall, you factor in ABT, you factor in Corey Davis. Those 3 guys were out by the third quarter, if I'm not mistaken, and we were still able to win this game. But again, at the end of the day, we won this game because of our defense.
Yeah.
There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We won this game because of our defense. Our defense has been our MVP this entire season. And we have to continue to lean on the defense. But we cannot continue to do that without the threat of having at least a running game that is going to be effective. And with the absence of Brees Hall, then it's next man up. And I believe Bam Knight should be able to fill in the shoes as a number 3 running back on this roster.
I just want to correct you on one thing, though. As far as MVP is concerned, it's AVT, right? And I love Brees Hall, and I know, Brandon wanted to shed a tear, not only because of the Jets affiliation, but because of his fantasy football team going to be in the toilet now. It was already heading in that direction anyway. But what I would say is that AVT is the MVP. Played in multiple positions on the offensive line when we really needed to have a steadying force in there. And unlike, the wide receiver out there, Elijah Moore, he said, play me anywhere, right? I mean, play me anywhere. I'm going to do what I need to do. And him being out of the lineup is going to be significant. I know we were able to patch it together, but we really got to see what this injury is for him. And hopefully it's not going to be long term.
It might be something he can put a brace on too.
Hopefully,
we're talking about an elbow, so it might have been something that swole up during the game too. So that's why he couldn't come back. I mean, who knows? But Dwayne Brown did not play good.
Not at all.
Dwayne Brown had at least 3 penalties called on him. And Laken Tomlinson has been inconsistent all year. So, I mean, as much as we want to throw Zach Wilson's faults on, directly on his own shoulders, I don't think that left side of the line blocked very well in pass game. And I don't think the right side of the line blocked very well in run game.
And the penalties.
Yeah, I mean, we had 11 penalties. I think we finished with 11 penalties. They came at terrible times offensively, like real bad drive stopping times. Holding calls are bad all the time, but they're really bad on second down when you have third and manageable coming up.
How many times was the defense penalized? I think maybe only twice.
No. The defense, they had 3 first downs at least at one point. Denver did off of penalties. So that would have been on the defense. So it's at least 3.
Their PIs were earlier in the game rather than late.
Yeah, we cleaned it up in the second half. I think we had 8 at halftime.
Okay.
PIs are funny too because I feel like you can call PI on almost
every time. On both sides.
Yeah, the last play to Sutton, to Cortland Sutton. Sutton. I'm mixing up his first name and his last name.
Yeah.
The last play to Sutton, I mean, Sauce had he kind of horse collared him and grabbed him at the same time. But like I guess the broadcasters say because it's going back and forth, they let them play. I don't know if that's consistently called. You had that pass interference called on Barrios for us that kept the drive going. That I thought was like a little bit of a ticky tack thing.
It was definitely
It's interesting. It's interesting how that stuff is called. But a win is a win. A win might not feel good all the time, but it is a win, and we are 5-2.
Shoo!
Yep, we are at 5-2. It's feels good to say that, but like,
are we still the first wild card?
What's that?
Are we still the first wild card?
The first wild card?
Right.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we won, and so nothing changed on our end. So
Right.
Let's not go start putting ourselves in wild card spots just yet.
I'm not doing that.
There's a lot of season left.
Look, the only reason, we haven't had an opportunity to be happy about our team this late in October, and I don't know how long. Like I said, like you guys said, we were mocking drafts in at the end of October.
Sure.
Yes.
In November.
By Halloween.
Brandon was.
Brandon was doing Halloween drafts, and I was doing it too.
He was doing a trick or treat mock.
Right.
But I'll steal something from Brian though. He said a few weeks ago that the confidence came from knowing what we could beat anybody with our A game. I think that maybe today we found out that we could beat somebody with our C game.
Yeah.
Which is also, that you could spin that as a positive.
There's something to be said about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I've watched almost every game that we've won over again or like partially over again. I ain't watching this game again.
No.
I might watch it
to be learned.
Yeah. This reminds me of games that could have gone either way back in the day, in the 90s or in the early aughts.
But to Kerry's point, we are tied for the second best record in the AFC. Let's just put it that way. With the Kansas City Chiefs. That's good company to be in 7 games into the season. What?
You know what it is? It's because the AFC is so good. They're like, you're not going to be undefeated in the AFC with all this talent. So like, it's like one team's picking off the other, and then we're just right there chopping wood. So we'll see what happens. I mean, let's just think one game at a time. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. As a matter of fact, the one game at a time thing, we played the Patriots next week.
Yep.
We don't have a good history against the Pats.
Nope.
And for me, as a Jets fan, my entire life, since I was 7 years old, and I had my Jets bike and everything, all righty? Here's the teams that I hate the most. I hate the Pats, all righty? But you know who I used to hate more than that? I used to hate Miami, but then the Pats, we created and gave birth to Tom Brady, so now it's the Pats. So it's the Pats in Miami who I can't stand the most in the NFL. So what are we going to do about the Pats next week? Because let's not sleep on them, all righty? Mac Jones is a little hurt, but that guy Zappy, he's playing some pretty good football. Their defense has been playing a lot better, and the Patriots' running game has been doing very well. So they kind of look like us a little bit. I'd say I'd call the defenses a wash, maybe us a little bit better, but their offense is playing better than ours.
They're going to be on a short week too. They're playing on Monday night.
Yep. Monday night, but they have the greatest coach of all time.
Totally.
Yeah, and he's going to take away the thing that you do best. And the good thing about this this last game is that we didn't really do anything good on offense. So he's not going to be able to figure out what to take away.
No, he's going to take away the run. He's going to take away the run.
Take away the run.
Yeah, he's going to put the ball. He's going to put the ball in Zach's hands.
We had one play.
So what? That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, that guy's not. That guy's hurt now. So I don't know. Bill Belichick's going to be racking his brain. What's the good thing they do on offense?
I don't know. Let's stop the run. Yeah. Okay. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, but he's going to have a lot of respect for the way we were playing defense because he knows what that means. And his whole thing, it's the middle out, right? We got the D line, we got the middle linebacker, and our safety play now is great. And then you put those two guys on the outside doing what they're doing. He has to worry about our defense.
Sure.
And that's probably what they'll primarily be focusing on. But we can also play a lot better on offense than we did today. We can bring our A game. So maybe our A game will come.
You know what else? Let me just make one point before we start to wrap things up about Zach Wilson. I think Zach Wilson is most. Well, let me ask you guys a question because I feel like I know the answer. Who is Zach Wilson, in your opinion, most comfortable throwing to?
Corey Davis.
The sideline.
It's funny. I don't even think he's comfortable doing that because he can't throw the ball away. I mean, for me, it's Corey Davis, and Corey Davis was out the game. And
That's the point.
could that have affected him potentially? But you got to be able to throw to everybody on the field. Why have a overabundance of weapons if you can only throw to one dude? Yeah. So that's where he's got to figure that out. And that definitely can't be a crutch for him.
No, it can't. It can't be for him to be successful, but he's not as successful, and I think it is a crutch. You see what I'm saying? So,
your favorite receiver is the one that's open. That's it.
Yeah, boy.
That's it. The one that's open, the one that's single covered. Period. Right. That's it.
And the thing is, he's throwing them unopened, and that's the problem. You know what I'm saying? He's throwing them unopened because he's not being, if that's even a word, because he's not.
It isn't, but we'll accept it.
From you, Brandon, we'll accept it.
Yeah,
Elijah Moore is a better option at wide receiver than two of the people that we put out on the field today.
100%.
At wide receiver, both Mims and Berrios, and it's a real shame that feelings.
Jeff Smith was out there too, so 3.
Jeff Smith, yeah, 3. So it's really upsetting to me that feelings caused, because the reason that Saleh said he didn't take him is because I'm not going to put that person in a position to play a football game in the mental state that they're in.
And you know what that is right there? Good coaching. And you know what else too? We still won the game. So he didn't want the locker room to get poisoned. You know what I'm saying? So good job by him. Good coaching. And I mean, listen, let's just start this new week fresh. Hopefully we can start anew. You go in there, hey Elijah, shake hands, let's go, get on the field, let's go, let's practice.
Because you ain't getting traded.
Right, we're not letting you go. You're not going anywhere. Nah, your name's not Steven. You're not leaving. So, so yeah.
We value you more than Robbie Anderson. You're not Robbie
exactly.
Anderson.
And stop having dinner with Jamal Adams and what's the other safety's name that left us for the Saints?
Marcus May.
And Marcus May, having dinner with them, in New York on the low key vibe, and letting them poison your head,
When did that happen?
That happened over the summer.
Oh,
what happened for real?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There's photos.
There was photographs of them sitting at the table. It was Marcus May and Jamal Adams in New York at a restaurant, and so little things, little whispers and things going on. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. And I've heard that like he's a great talent, but I also heard that he can be a little bit emotional, and we've seen it now, Exhibit A on Twitter, and thus getting deactivated. So, everyone's different. So we dealt with it. Good coaching job. And let's just start fresh this week, all right? Hey, Elijah, rub some dirt on it and get back in the game. You're a professional athlete. You're getting paid. Honor your contract. Let's go. Everyone else is, all righty? Look at AVT, okay? You think he wants to be playing guard and have his resume built from being a guard when he knows he could be making that right tackle money or like left tackle money? You know what I'm saying? Especially since he's gone out there, done it, and has played well, and he's dancing all over the line. You think because he's dancing, he's not going to get enough reps to basically have people vote for him to get into the Pro Bowl? You know what I'm saying? Because, he doesn't have enough reps in one position, even though he thinks he's a Pro Bowl player. And we think as the BKBK podcast team, we think he's Pro Bowl eligible, but you need reps at that one position. So I mean, he's sacrificing. He's playing for the team. So come on, Elijah, we love you, man. Let's get back in there. One other thing before we sign off: UFC 280, fellow Long Islander Aljamain Sterling retains his belt. All right, second round TKO. And the ref had to stop the fight. He beat forget his name. Dillashaw. He beat Dillashaw in Abu Dhabi. Also, Aljamain, he's from Uniondale, but he also coached. He used to coach the Baldwin Bruins wrestling team. I know the guy. Don't know him well. Don't know. I'm not going to front. Don't know him well at all. But he's a good dude, and he is on the Cerro Longo fight team. And my man Ray Longo, who I absolutely love. I hit him up the other day, and he was fired up, and he's really, really happy for his team and for Aljamain. So, just want to shout out to fellow Long Islander Aljo, and just representing Long Island and everything.
Jamaican too, right?
Yeah, he's Jamaican too, first generation like me. More fire, blow, 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 blow. Yeah.
Aljamain Sterling is probably as Jamaican a name as you're gonna get. Right?
If he wasn't Aljamain, he would have been named like Nigel, Trevor, or Donovan. Yeah. So, all right, guys. Listen. This was a quickie for us, but it was worthwhile. Listen, we'll just have to see what happens next week. I'm a little tepid about it, but we'll see what's up, man. So to all of you out there, all of our viewers, thanks for watching another episode of the BKBK podcast. And we just want to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. Make sure you keep watching us. Find us on Facebook, on our Facebook channel. Find us on YouTube, okay? Just type up BKBK podcast, and you'll find us on YouTube. Make sure you hit the like and the subscribe button. You can find us on Twitter on @BKBK Podcast, Instagram @BKBK Podcast. And also, if you want to just listen to us rather than say, you're driving in the car, whatever, you can't watch us. Just go to bkbkpodcast.podomatic.com and you can listen to us and enjoy us in all of our splendor. All right, so that's it. All right, so let's go Jets. Let's go Baldwin Bruins, and let's go Team BKBK.
That's right.